So we're live. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep. Fourth wall.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. This is a trial for me, experiment for me. Just for context, I found this amazing deal for the studio time, and I thought, what better way to capitalize on a screaming deal than having some meaningful discussions with some people that are close to me that I find insightful and informative. So, like the intentions of the podcast, I don't even have a title yet. The intentions are really just to have some stimulating conversation, gain some perspective from someone who I think has perspective to offer, and spend some quality time with people close to me. So that's really it. I'm not going for crazy audience numbers here. I'm perfectly content if one person watches this, which will be myself maybe, and
our moms.
and our moms or our families or whatever, or if like hundreds of people watch it, it really doesn't bother me. But let me introduce my guest here. So I brought my longtime good friend Deniz Kaya. We've been friends for, I guess, 15 years now, right? 20 years. We met in grade 10. We were 15.
Yeah, high school.
Yeah.
Like
so
30.
17 years ago. So what I know about Deniz is, we've been friends, like I said, for a really long time. Deniz lived in Toronto for a while. And I guess to kind of introduce the segments, I kind of broke it up into values. So the first segment is independence. So I feel that independence is a trait that you exhibit, Deniz, because in the time that I've known you, you were extremely driven in high school. Like I think we met in Science 10, and like you aced the course, and then always taking like advanced level classes, and just your initiative to move cities pretty young, but also you landed yourself in that, was it Baroque School of Art? What was it called? Baroque?
The Academy Realist School of Art.
Yeah. You could probably speak to it better than me, but I just remember kind of like socially supporting you through that process. And you had applied like 4 years in a row or something. And you failed, and then you failed, and then you failed. But you kept trying, and then you finally got there. So, I mean, I introduced the subject as independence. Maybe that's more like grit and determination. But that's one example. And then even outside of that, you're just very self-aware when it comes to pushing yourself to do things and to meet new people and to just kind of get out there. So independence is kind of the first one that I thought for you. So I guess to kind of kick things off, my first question is, where does your kind of internal sense of motivation come from? Maybe you can speak to like your determination with that art school and other areas of your life, but just kind of like tapping into the self-motivation piece.
Yeah, sure. Wow, I feel like
this is professional.
Yeah, but I also feel like, I don't know, like your words are kind with everything that you've said.
They're intended to be complimentary.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with the independence part, like in that professional sense, like I wanted to go to that school to develop my skills to get into the master's program. So it kind of had to be like a stepping stone to make the portfolio. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the drive just came from wanting to pursue that field, like in biomedical illustration, like for the master's program. And they don't really have a lot of spots.
How many people in the class? Like
there's
8 people?
18 in the class, and then they get about, I think, over 100 that apply or something like that. So,
and just to talk you up a little, I remember you telling me when you were applying that isn't this like the same content that Da Vinci taught? Or there was some famous artist that's connected to this school, right?
The school, like for U of Toronto, has like Da Vinci did it all. Like he was the Renaissance man. Like he did science, math, like the traditional art and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, U of T is like the only school in Canada that does that program. So unless you want to move to the States where there's like a couple other schools, U of T is like your only option here. And they've kind of moved away from traditional, but it does have some influence from like those old masters and everyone. But I feel like the drive for me was just knowing that it would be a fulfilling career path, and it was something that I just became more interested in. And even though it was hard to get in, I think it like reinforced for me that it was the right decision, because it didn't give me like hesitation.
When you were in there.
Yeah, and just like, if you get turned down, you might reevaluate, is this really what I want? And you might pick a different path or something. But for me, I was like, no, I really want to go down this path. So
How many times did you reevaluate before you got in? You applied 4 times, 5 times?
I got in my third try.
Oh, third try. So I said you failed 4 times, but actually you failed twice. Okay.
Yeah.
So your kind of internal sense of motivation came primarily from a sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
Yeah. I think even before I started thinking about you in that way, we were both undergrads at U of C, and you started on business, right?
yeah.
We were in business school together.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I think I'm going to switch to science. And then you switched to science. You took Finance 317 and did well in Finance 317.
Yeah.
And then you took OChem in science.
Yeah, I was a little all over the map.
Like the hardest business class and then the hardest science class.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you're doing hard things. So is the primary motive just your sense of fulfillment that you were talking about earlier, or do you have like what else can you say about the motivational side of it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at the beginning when I was doing that degree and the science degree, I kind of just gravitated towards what I found interesting. But then when you get closer to the end, you kind of have to land on a decision, or you're not really going to graduate with a degree. And I want to be in school forever. So that program was really appealing, because you get to kind of stay like a jack of all trades or something, and it allowed me to combine like my passion for art and design, like, because I didn't know about that program before. So I think it gave me some like direction as well. So, because I'm the type of person who, like, if I know something is like worth
Pursuing.
Yeah, then I'm more willing to like go down that route. But the business degree was kind of the backup, just in case, like.
That's a pretty good backup, though.
Yeah, but it just became a little bit like, I don't want to have to do 2 degrees if I'm gonna apply to this. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it kind of brings up like another subject for me, because when I look at your history, like you jumped majors and then you spent these years trying to get into the school. You were in this school where you had to work crazy hours and it was a huge workload. And then you moved to Toronto, then you moved back to Calgary, and then I think you even went back to, like, you kind of bounced around a little.
Yeah, it was back and forth.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, like, with major life decisions like that, like relocation is a huge decision. Picking a career is a huge decision. What is kind of your process for making those big decisions? So I guess criteria, like, yeah, maybe you can speak to kind of your own internal processes that you go through to arrive at a decision. Because like you were saying, you were under a time constraint at U of C. You had to land on a major. Yeah, maybe can you speak to that a little?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the common pattern that I noticed was like you can kind of just evaluate like the decision based on the information that you have at hand. But after a certain point, you kind of just have to accept the uncertainty and then just move forward with it. So it's not like I always knew what I would encounter, like, because I wasn't really sure, like, moving to a new city and not really knowing anyone and not really knowing the city initially. It's kind of like you don't know what like as much as you can plan, you just kind of have to accept there's going to be the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I feel like
I think that that's what's hard for people is the sense of uncertainty and the fact that there's a lot of fear involved. Like
definitely.
fear holds people back, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what makes you different in the sense that you were able to confront that?
Well, I mean, I think that like I kind of had to do it in a way because that was like the only, place to go to for that type of program. So it felt more like if you're not able to go, then you can't do this program. So it might be a bit different for people if like, they have like choices, but I think ultimately you're just going to have to like try, and then if it doesn't work and then you have an actual reason, then you can kind of reevaluate. But if you're just going around in circles in your head, it's kind of like you're never going to really know.
I guess going off of this topic, when you're thinking about these decisions and confronting the fear and uncertainty, how tangible were your actions in deciding? Like, did you go through a formal structure or process to arrive at a decision, or did you rely on intuition? Or like, I'm just curious about that aspect, kind of more like the deciding point.
The deciding point for what exactly?
When you make the decision itself, like deciding to move to Toronto or deciding to apply for that school, like the point where you're considering it to the point where you have made the decision and are putting actions in place to execute on the decision. Are you just relying on intuition, or are you taking formal actions to arrive at your decision?
I feel like at the beginning it was intuition.
It's all intuition.
Yeah, I feel like just kind of like,
It's kind of attitude, like desire.
And I feel like when you're younger, you just kind of like, it just feels like fun to do and everything. So I feel like at the beginning it was more intuition, and then towards the end, after getting into the program and graduating, it was kind of like, how do I want to focus on the actual career path? And then I feel like you can't be as like just intuitive about it.
Yeah.
So
I guess another question could be like, looking back in retrospect, are you happy with those decisions you made? Do you have regrets?
No, I mean, if I had to do it again, I wouldn't really change anything. Like the only part that I feel like, I mean, it was out of my control was like Toronto's housing was really expensive and competitive. So I feel like I just navigated that like the best way that I could. But yeah, I made a lot of close friends like through those years, and I really enjoyed the program. So I feel like it was all worth it in the end, but there's definitely like...
And I mean, you landed your career position now because of it too, right?
And so I'm like, in the career path and like working along it. So I feel like in the end it turned out okay, but it was definitely there's more uncertainty at the beginning, which I feel like that's kind of the main theme with a lot of decisions that you're not sure about is like when you make a decision, then you kind of eliminate some variables, and then you can kind of move on and figure more things out and go from there, rather than just sitting there trying to think of everything.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I had another question. I guess when it comes to uncertainty, when you got into that school itself, did you have certainty that you would get into the biomedical illustrator position after you graduated? Or like when you finally achieved that goal of getting into the school, was there still uncertainty after?
Oh, definitely.
Like there's always uncertainty.
Yeah, I mean...
It's basically an inevitability.
Yeah, it's just part of...
It's part of life.
Yeah, it's part of life. You have all...
So
you have the answers.
So embracing uncertainty and like navigating, I guess, the internal attitudes and like feelings around uncertainty would be like a life skill.
Yeah, I would say so, because I feel like you're lying to yourself if you think that you can just have everything figured out, even when you're in your career path.
I feel like so many people are just in jobs though. Like they're just working for someone else because that's that's the route that you're supposed to go down.
Right.
And that's stability. Like people seek out stability, even if it's contrary to their level of happiness and satisfaction and desire.
Yeah.
And it's because uncertainty holds you back.
Yeah. I feel like people.
But you're good at navigating around that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people are kind of more like basing their decisions around what they're fearful of rather than what they actually want, even if they don't realize that, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we could go, another question could be like knowing that uncertainty, how inevitable it is and how prevalent it is, not just for you and I, but for everyone.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone who's dealing with that, like high levels of anxiety, or feeling stuck in a rut, like maybe they're in a job that they hate, but they're staying in it because they need to pay the bills or whatever. Like there's an uncertainty with being unemployed or whatever. What kind of advice would you have to someone like that? That, I guess uncertainty is holding the person back.
Yeah. I mean, so like they're unhappy in their current role and you're asking like what they can do to.
Yeah, like it doesn't necessarily have to be job specific, could apply to any sphere of life. And it's just that feeling of uncertainty, preventing them from taking the necessary steps or actions to maybe make a meaningful change that would be positive. But it's because they're uncertain of what could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's natural for people to kind of like gravitate or stay like near what they think is familiar, Yeah. Even if they aren't happy with something or they want to try something else out. So I think that that's like
there's a comfort.
Normal. Yeah, it's definitely like it makes sense that you kind of want to stay in your comfort zone, and I feel like anything, like even if it's an exciting opportunity, it still can make you feel anxious or something or make you uncertain about it, but you still take it on. So I feel like the advice would be like, if you try it, like most things aren't permanent. Like you could go back if you change your mind or something. But
what do you think are the areas of life where this manifests itself the most? Like definitely in work. Like people will seek out a position that they can to be in a position because it's safe or it's stable. Like it's so hard to start a business. But then, like, I think relationships is another one. Like there's so many people that just stay in a relationship that's toxic or unhappy. Mm-hmm. And it's because of that sense of security or a false sense of security, like comfort, you know?
No, definitely. I think those are all really common scenarios. I feel like it's like if you had something that you always wanted to do or try, like it could be like a hobby or like whatever, maybe you want to travel somewhere or something, but you just kind of suppressed or you just didn't let yourself do it, then I feel like that would be a good example of something, because you kind of just like, it's always in the back of your mind, but you just never, took the first step. So
yeah, even with travel too, like a lot of people, they're just like afraid of flying. Like they won't travel the world even though they have the means and ability to. And traveling is a huge privilege, but they won't get on the plane because they're afraid of flying or something like that. Like it's crazy how much fear can control a person's life.
Yeah, definitely.
Like there's a lot of power to it.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So maybe for our prospective audience, whoever could be listening to this, we've kind of redirected to this topic of fear. What are some practical ways that a person can overcome a feeling of fear or uncertainty, like embrace that uncertainty and improve in that regard? Whether it's going to Baroque School of Art or relocating to Toronto or just getting on an airplane.
What are some things that they could do?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like could probably I mean, I think that like a certain level of fear and anxiety is like normal,
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to let go of the idea that it'll completely go away. But I don't know. I feel like
I think that one for me is exposure.
exposure.
Yeah. Like if something scares me, I almost want to like dig into it a little more, you know?
So what do you mean by dig into it?
Like say I'm afraid of public speaking, and I am a little. It's a really common fear. I'm okay with it. I wouldn't say I'm super afraid. I'm okay to do it, but it's a really common fear that people have. So my idea with exposure is just exposing yourself to it a little bit, and maybe you don't have to jump in the deep end of the pool. Like maybe you're taking baby steps into the pool,
Yeah.
but like maybe be in a professional studio and go on a podcast where you're talking to one or two other people, you know?
Yeah.
Or give a speech in front of your friends, or like host a poetry night, or like something that's like a baby step towards it.
Yeah.
You know, like I just think you have to confront it. You have to attack it.
Yeah. Just like a little step at a time or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Exposure. Yeah. What else? Okay. I think I'm good actually. Do you have any other comments on this subject or no?
No, I think we covered it.
Yeah, so I guess to introduce the second subject, I wanted to talk to you about authenticity, and I guess subgenres would be self-expression and courage, because like in the first subject, I talked to you about self-motivation and independence as a trait that I think you exhibit, but this is the second trait that I think you strongly exhibit. And I mean, we can both speak on like our personal identities if you're comfortable with being a little vulnerable in this space to an audience, a recorded audience. But I mean, coming out takes a lot of courage, and it's a step towards authenticity and living more in accordance with who you are, even if it's at the expense of relationships or disadvantages in life, like hurdles in life. And it's something I can relate to also. And I think it's like a hardship that we both kind of share. So I wanted to kind of ask questions in that vein because, I mean, perhaps that's an extreme example is coming out. But I think there's a lot of other smaller examples where inauthenticity really holds people back. And it really manifests itself in a bunch of harmful ways for the individual. So even something as little as just like a white lie or not being fully honest with yourself can really have a negative impact. So I guess at a very basic level, like, why is it important to be authentic? Like, what is the benefit? And then conversely, the question would be, what are the harms of living inauthentically? So you can choose whatever example you want.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess that's my question.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like when you live authentically, it's like it's harder because I feel like you have to be more vulnerable. Like if there's a part of yourself that you're not comfortable with, then if you hide it, or like if you do share it with other people, they could reject you, which doesn't feel good. But
Judgment, yeah.
yeah, or judge you. But if they don't, or they accept you, then I feel like that brings you closer, or like you build.
It's more real.
Yeah, and you build
Yeah.
like deeper connections. So I feel like with authenticity, it's kind of like if you put in the effort and you try to be more authentic, I think you can also like attract more people who might have the same values, because you're showing them like your cards. They, if they accept you honestly and stuff, you can kind of build a better relationship from there. And then, I mean, if you don't want to be authentic, or it's difficult to, then I feel like on the flip side, you might not develop like real relationships with as many people, but you might also feel like safer because you're not being vulnerable and exposing yourself, you know?
So there's pros and cons to being authentic and inauthentic.
I mean, I feel like it's just, yeah, with anything, I would say pros and cons. Just, yeah.
For me, it was very innate. Like, I just felt like discord in my body, you know? Like, it was very psychological.
Yeah.
Like, it was very hard for me to live so deceptively, you know? Like, and it wasn't even directly deceptive. It was more just like, I'm not being honest with people about who I actually am. And then I just had so much discord in my body.
Yeah.
Like, even though I was in safe environments where I was avoiding that feeling of judgment, I don't know. And then I guess, like, it also made me kind of act that way in other settings too. Like, even something as simple as like what you're wearing, you know? And I mean, today I'm wearing just like black jeans and a black shirt, but like when I was like that before, like before coming out, I was just so safe all the time, like in my relationships, the way I presented myself, what I would say, like my attitudes and behaviors.
Yeah.
And then when I kind of rejected that, it's exactly what you were saying. Like, my relationships grew because they became more sincere, and I could hit like a deeper level with people, you know?
Yeah.
The one big thing I noticed when I started being more honest with others was they reciprocated that to me, you know? Like, if you have like a heartfelt, vulnerable conversation with somebody, then it really shows you who your people are, but it also gives them the initiative to share with you something that they're struggling.
Yeah.
And to your point, I think that's where connection comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let me ask the same question, but kind of reframed a little differently.
Okay, sure.
What's the implication of not being authentic?
The implication of not...
Or sorry, let me change the question.
Okay.
What do you think the root of it is? Like, if someone is living inauthentically or afraid to come out and be who they are or say something authentically, what do you think the root of that is? Like, why is that happening?
I feel like it's like basic level. It's probably like a fear of a consequence or repercussion.
It's back to our last subject.
Yeah.
It stems
Did you
from...
plan that?
No.
Okay.
No, it stems from uncertainty, and
Yeah.
it's a fear-based reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think that in a nutshell, that's what it would be. Because, I mean, if you could somehow know what would happen if you know, came out or were upfront about whatever, I feel like maybe that would influence some people, but you never know until, and sometimes people like just overthink it in their head or something.
Yeah. Okay, controversial question. It seems like more and more people are facing anxiety lately. Like, anxiety's on the rise. And things like depression, like, how much of that do you think is linked to those feelings of fear and uncertainty, like keeping yourself in a position that's quote unquote safe or in your comfort zone? Whereas if you acted more courageously and decided to confront those fears, it's scary and you're embracing discomfort, like you're entering into an uncomfortable zone.
Yeah.
But it could produce changes, you know, like there's a risk and reward factor. How much of that do you think leads to anxiety and depression, or like, where do you think the link is there?
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. I feel like, I kind of feel like maybe for some people they need to gain a bit of momentum with like a smaller win or something. Because if you're already feeling down or anxious and you're like trying to take a big risk or something and it doesn't go well, then I could see it backfiring and you feeling even more low. But if you, you know, have like a small win, then I feel like it might help a bit, but everyone's different. And I feel like some people, like if they're feeling that way, they like to confide in others, and then other people, they tend to become more reclusive. So I feel like it's variable, but I feel like in the end, like everyone, even if you have some people who are more independent than others or less reliant on others, I feel like we're all like social. So I feel like having like a good support system either way like helps.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question though.
I think so. Yeah, I think anxiety and depression are things that like so many people are dealing with right now. And who knows what the underlying reasons are, but I know that when I decided to start living more authentically and started confronting fears and insecurities, a lot of that went away from me. Mm-hmm. Like before I came out, I was super anxious all the time. And like perhaps a lot of it was innate, just the discord in my body. But I think you're right. So much of it stems from a fear, fear of judgment or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, it was scary and hard for sure, and did impact some of my relationships. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, the risk was worth the reward, and it wasn't just personal reward. Like I also cultivated a lot more new relationships that were deeper and more meaningful, and solidified existing relationships. So
yeah.
Maybe like on the subject of anxiety and depression, what do you think are some of the reasons why it's trending upwards right now?
I mean, I don't know how exactly, but I definitely feel like the pandemic like affected it. Like even though it's, changed a little bit since a couple years ago, I still feel like we're dealing with the fallout of it and probably won't know like the real consequences. But things are hard economically right now, kind of across the board. That's always like something that people have to deal with. And then, I think like the time period that we grew up, like it wasn't really like technology dominant. Like I feel like, like we got cell phones and like we had to be like good with like the internet and everything and social media, but I feel like we weren't inundated with it like when we were kids. And I just remember like calling friends like on landlines or stuff like that. And now I feel like, that connection is like there, but it's like in a different way. And sometimes I feel like social media, like it doesn't really feel as fulfilling. But sometimes you think you're, having like communication with a friend or something. So I wonder if that contributes in the background or something.
I think all of yours make perfect sense. The first one that came to mind for me was what you just said about social media.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a pandemic in and of itself. Did you hear in Alberta they're starting to restrict it in classrooms?
Social media?
Or just cell phone usage? Like in junior highs, you're not allowed to use a phone anymore. You have to keep it at home.
Oh, like you can't bring it to school?
Yeah, you can't bring it in the classroom.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's a new bylaw across the province. I just heard about that last week. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know they could. How would they enforce that? Like if people
I'm not sure. I asked the same question. I heard it in a meeting. But I feel like it's a good step because I think that you're right. Like smartphone usage, and even for me, like we're both millennials, but the generation behind us, like Gen Z, the ones that are younger, particularly the ones that went through the pandemic, it's like a double whammy. But the amount of screen time that they're under is like 10 hours a day. Like the average time is like 9 to 10 hours a day on your phone. A lot. Yeah, considering you're awake for like 14 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
16 hours, it's a lot of time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can ask some questions back to the kind of lens of authenticity and, even linked to anxiety and depression. My next question is, like, what is your degree of reflection? Like, what is your internal processes like for you to be self-aware of whatever it is that you're going through And if you're noticing you're trending downwards on the mental health side, like some anxiety is creeping into your lifestyle more and more, or if you're just feeling like you're regressing, how self-aware are you day to day, and what kind of framework do you put in place to like get around that?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are good questions, like with mental health and everything. I feel like it's hard to say. Like, I think sometimes I kind of start with like, basic needs. Like, am I getting enough sleep? Am I, staying hydrated, eating like okay? Because I feel like that stuff affects you more than you think. Because I'm definitely someone who likes to play sports and have that as an outlet. So I feel like I would look at that first. And then if it's like, yeah, I am sleeping well and I am eating well and like nothing is, happening there, then maybe see if there's something that's like situational that's going on. And then I do like to externalize my thoughts or reach out to friends. So I feel like the support system would kind of be next in line. But
that's a form of reflection, right? When you're talking to somebody else about what you're going through, I guess in a way.
Yeah, I think it depends on like how you talk about it, or if the other person, how you're engaging. But I think for people who, like, I'm someone who, if I'm saying things out loud or externalizing, sometimes like I think of something that I wouldn't have if I was like doing like, I think journaling would be more of like a internalizing or like some type of personal reflection. But I feel like externalizing is like the opposite. So yeah, maybe I do more externalizing than reflection.
Yeah. So the first step is identify your basic needs.
Yeah.
Sleep, diet, exercise.
I think, yeah.
And then the second step is assess your circumstances.
Yeah, I think.
That's kind of what you were saying.
Because I feel like more often than not, when your basic needs aren't met, and I feel like they're not like insignificant, because your basic needs could include housing or something, or like maybe you're just really burnt out from work or school or something. And I feel like when you don't have as much energy, you could be in a bad mood, you could be shorter with people. Like, I feel like all of that stuff.
I think that's so true.
Yeah.
Like, I am so much more irritable if I'm hungry.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like,
even in a relationship, like with your partner or whatever, you're so much more prone to an argument if you're both hungry.
You become hangry.
Yeah, you become hangry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sleep is a big one for me too. Like if I don't get a good night's sleep, I'm just so much more irritable.
Yeah, it's just kind of like your baseline, like if all of your basic needs are met and you're still feeling depressed or anxious, then I feel like then what else is happening? You know what I mean?
How much intentionality do you think it takes to be aware of these things?
How much intentionality?
Yeah.
I mean,
like, do you have to get to the point where you're literally tracking everything, or?
Oh no, I mean, I don't
intuitive,
think so.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that most people like know for themselves how much sleep they're getting or not getting, or what kind of food they're eating. Like I think it would be a different. Like if I was feeling low mentally, I feel like tracking my sleep and tracking my food and being really like granular about it, I wouldn't have the motivation to do that,
Yeah.
But
I think it's hard with depression because it's something that creeps up. Like it's very gradual and you don't even really notice it creeping up until you're like in it, you know? So yeah, you do have to, I think, be aware kind of every day or weekly, like a pulse check, like where am I at?
Yeah, and I mean, I think sometimes like with your question about the self-awareness or the intention, like I think like a part of it does boil down to like whether or not you notice or you think it's important, because I think if someone else were telling me like you should be sleeping more, you should be doing this more, but I didn't agree with them, I don't see myself doing it. So I don't really know how to answer that question for other people.
Yeah.
Like,
How much stock would you put into the advice of another person? Like say you're dealing with anxiety or depression or any type of negative mental health trait and someone's consulting you how much stock would you put into that?
Like whether or not I would take their advice.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's really dependent on the relationship with the other person, you know, and then also just
the context.
Yeah, the context is important, and then whether or not I'm looking for advice or if I'm just looking for
That's how I
someone to
feel
talk
too.
to.
Like sometimes if someone's giving you unsolicited advice, then you're just like, you're an asshole, you know, like I didn't consult you for advice.
Yeah.
But I think it's totally different if you're going to someone that you respect what they have to say and you're seeking that advice out.
Yeah, I feel like most of the time you just want your emotions validated, and then maybe you want some advice, but I feel like most of the time people don't actually not know what to do. They just kind of need some validation that they don't, you know, that what they're feeling is real or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So going back to your earlier question, where you were saying the two things that people should look at is first, basic needs, second, their circumstances.
Yep.
Let me give you a hypothetical. Let's say someone goes through those things. They're dealing with something internally, but they're eating well, sleeping well, exercise regularly, and they think that their circumstances are fine. What would you say in that type of situation? Like if they've passed both checks.
I mean, then I think the next step would be like, so their circumstances are fine and their basic needs are met? Is that what you're
Or
saying?
maybe they just perceive it that way.
Oh, like they are in denial or they don't understand?
Yeah, maybe they're in denial. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's like what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't think that I, as like an external person, could do anything, because I feel like if you're not like ready to come to terms with something, or you think like, you know, there isn't an issue with it, it's like hard to change.
Or do you think it could only be one of those two things?
Oh, definitely not.
It could be more than that, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's
Like, let's say their circumstances are fine and their basic needs are being met, but they're still facing these issues.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at that point it would be worth like, you know, maybe asking someone who knows you well, like if they notice any change, or like going to see like a doctor or therapist or someone, like getting an outside opinion, because
Yeah.
you've covered all your other bases, you know?
Yeah. Okay. I guess just to wrap up, I mean, we were talking about authenticity and then we kind of transitioned to just general mental health, anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
But do you have any advice for anyone that is looking to cultivate a sense of authenticity or develop a sense of courage or self-express a little more?
I mean, I feel like it doesn't really matter like how much you prepare or like how smart you are. I feel like at one point or another you're just gonna have to be able to sit with the anxiety or the nerves and
like learn how to manage.
Yeah, and I feel like it's helpful to like kind of do like a smaller thing, you know, like, because I feel like it builds up your confidence and you gain a bit of momentum rather than go for like a really big, you know, big situation or something.
Yeah. I think that my immediate answer is be like a yes man. Like, as long as you're not super burnt out, as long as you have the time and mental energy for it, which I guess is hard to say if you're facing anxiety or depression. But yeah, like accept social invitations, push yourself out of your comfort zone, and just kind of like embrace opportunities, you know? Like, I think so much of my anxiety and depression also went away when I started opening myself more to others. And just new things, like just experimenting, like learn more about yourself.
Yeah.
And
put yourself out there.
Yeah, like exposure. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Cool.
All
okay.
right.
Well,
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess we'll wrap up the second segment there. Okay, so we're kind of at the end of the episode. I thought I'd end with something fun. I mean, we've been talking about really heavy subjects for like almost an hour now, so I'm going to try to close all these with more of like a fun kind of fast response question period. So it's called rapid fire. So the first question is your favorite thing about fall. It's October right now. I don't know when I'm going to release this, but it's October right now. What's your favorite thing about the fall?
I like pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh my God. That's
I
such a
know.
cliche answer.
I know.
But those are
I
so
do.
good though.
I know.
I haven't gotten any yet this season.
Yeah, I got one in the summer actually because they like release it.
When
like,
does it get
end of
released?
August now. Like I don't know, Starbucks is doing it like end of August, which is weird, but
I actually bought some powder off Amazon recently because I was like, these lattes are so expensive and
I
they're
know.
so sugary too.
I get it half sweet.
You
every
have
time.
to. The
yeah.
sugar content's so high.
Yeah, full sweetness is too much.
But it's also like $6 for a coffee.
I
But
know.
I bought a bag of powder on
Yeah.
Amazon for $18.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure it's pure nutmeg though. Like it's like a little bit of pumpkin flavoring and then the rest is nutmeg. So, but yeah, cheaper product. Okay, next question. Most memorable Halloween costume that either you've worn or that you've seen on another person.
I think my favorite was still when I made the Pac-Man costume like in high school.
I do not remember that. I remember going to a gender bender party with you though. I don't think that was for Halloween.
No, it was at UFC and it was a superhero theme one. And I
Yeah.
remember Laura like was supposed to be Green Lantern or something, but someone asked her if she was an asparagus, which is like
That's funny.
I don't know why they would jump to asparagus at a place like that.
Did she have like spiky green hair?
No, I mean, I don't remember exactly, but she was basically just like green with like a cape or something. And I don't know. It's funny.
That's funny. I need to see the photo. Okay, hidden gem in Toronto.
Hidden gem?
Yeah, you lived. How many years did you live in Toronto?
Like 5.
Yeah, so if I'm a tourist going to Toronto, I've never been before. What's something that I should do that I'm not going to run into a ton of tourists, but I'm going to have a great time?
I mean, I was going to say Kensington Market off the top of my head, but I feel like,
There's a Kensington in Toronto?
yeah, it's different than the one here. I mean, it's kind of touristy, like some tourists know about it, but it's also pretty like different. So,
Okay. Kensington Market. What is it?
just a bunch of shops, like specialty shops. There's like some food there. There's like some pie places, but it's also just really random. Like you just have to go there and walk around. You'll get what I mean.
Okay. Next time I'm in Toronto, I'll seek it out and then I'll give you my judgment.
Okay.
I'll text you and I'll say it was good or never give me a hidden gem ever again. Okay, next question. Who is a fictional character that you either relate to or aspire to?
A fictional character?
Or just like, I don't know, something.
Or aspire to be?
Sure.
I feel like I'm blanking. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that would be the hardest question.
Really?
Well, I can't even, I don't watch much media either.
We can circle back to it.
When?
I don't know. Towards the end.
Okay.
If we remember.
Where's the best seat at the cinema?
I like being more towards the back and
For sure.
the middle.
Who likes to be at the front?
Well, I mean, if
Have
you
you
get in
ever
there,
met anybody that wants to sit at the front of a movie theater?
I feel like it's just if you get in late.
If you
know?
get in late, yeah.
Yeah, you're just cranking your neck up.
But is it far back or is it like back third?
I mean, I think I like to sit at the far back.
How centered?
It depends, but like more in the center, so it's not like off to the side. But it just depends.
I actually kind of like the railing.
The railing?
Yeah, because then I can put my apple and popcorn on the staircase.
Oh yeah.
Save
I mean, I
myself
feel
some
like
space.
I feel like my preference is like if the movie theater is pretty dead, because I have a different answer. If it's like really busy, then I just want to be in an area where there's less people.
Yeah. Okay, on the subject of movies, what's the last really good movie that you watched that you would plug? Mm-hmm. And what's the last movie that you watched that you were kind of like meh about?
I mean, I think the movie was called Megan or something, like off Netflix. It was like this
Oh, is
AI
that? Yeah,
doll.
I watched
Yeah.
that. That came out like a year ago in theaters, right? The AI robot.
Yeah,
It's like a killer.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was like a comedic, like a dark comedy or something.
I saw it too.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Do you think that that is a dystopian future that's possible?
I mean, maybe. It was kind of like a Black Mirror episode.
Like, what do you think the likelihood of the world ending because of AI is? Because of robots taking over?
I don't know if the world would end, but I feel like a lot of people would lose their jobs.
That's sad.
You know? Yeah, it is.
Or maybe there'll just be different jobs. I feel like the structures of society need to shift. With the level of automation we're at now, and like you said, like AI going to take over all these different jobs. And also there's a spike in population. Like there's 7 billion people on Earth now. And there's less jobs, increasingly less jobs, because our economy is becoming more effective and optimized.
Yeah.
It's like the structure of the entire economy needs to shift.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what that's going to look like.
Can you solve that problem for us? What's the solution?
I mean, maybe pit AI against AI. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to leave that one for another day.
We'll circle back to it too.
The biggest global problems. Okay, yeah, I'm through my rapid fire questions. Do you have any rapid fire questions for me, or should we close?
What's a hidden gem in Calgary?
Good question. Crescent Heights Hill.
Is that hidden?
Well, no, it's the best view of downtown, though, for sure.
Because I feel like if it's something that...
It's not on TripAdvisor.
It's not?
It could be. I haven't looked at TripAdvisor for my own city, but I feel like it wouldn't be. I feel like the things on TripAdvisor would be like the Calgary Zoo, because there's such a big selection of animals.
I feel like anything on TripAdvisor isn't a hidden gem.
Yeah. So if you travel a lot, how do you find these hidden gems? Do you just have to go on podcasts with people that have lived in other cities and ask, or how do you find these hidden gems?
I mean, I feel like you just have to know someone.
Or couch surf safely, couch surf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say Crescent Hill, or what's another good one? Kinjo's the best sushi, even though it's like a very cliche sushi restaurant and pretty cheap. I love it. It's so good. Any other questions?
What do you think of the transit in Calgary?
The transit?
Yeah.
I think the Green Line is 10 years late and is in very, very big need.
I agree.
And it will keep getting pushed back because there's so much bureaucracy and it's political and it costs so much money. But you know what's interesting? I was in this focus group for this marketing agency a few months ago, and it was all about city planning. Like, I think it was for the Glenbow Museum because they're under renos right now.
Oh, okay.
But they were asking questions about Calgary, and one of the questions at the end, they gave everyone a sheet of paper, and they said, what is one area of need that the city needs to prioritize right now? And almost every single person put transit.
Yeah.
And then the number 2 answer was affordable housing.
Yeah, I would say those two are definitely
Like
up
shortage.
there.
Yeah.
Probably related to each other too.
Have you also noticed that city transit, it seems like the crime level's going up. Like, it seems more unsafe to ride transit now than it used to.
I mean, I can see that. I don't really take transit. Like, I just drive. I don't know if you take the train.
Only if I'm going to a Flames game or something. Yeah.
Definitely could improve.
I don't know about buses, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the city needs to work on transit, but you should check out Crescent Hill and Kinjo.
Yeah.
Cool. Any other
takeaways?
Any other final questions before we close?
No. I feel like we covered everything.
All
Everything
right.
there is to talk about.
Okay. We'll close then. We did not plan this. Let's say one word together. What word?
What?
Good close. Okay. 3, 2, 1. We're closed. Okay.
We can